Hey, what's up, my coinaholics? Welcome back to another edition of the Monday Market Report. All right, this is the last one for the month of February, week ending February 28th, 2021. In this report, we talk about the most relevant post 1900 modern US coins to have sold in auction this past week. This week, we're going to focus on again with Great Collections listings, in which we have just a stout display of various coins, especially in the 1 cent and 5 cent denominations, really taking center stage this past week. I mean, it truly is. If you're into pennies, it's probably pennies from heaven. All right, it's that deep, and I was actually only able to pick a few of them. And nickels as well. When we get to the older pre-1950 stuff, like Buffalo nickels and early generation Jefferson nickels, the market has just exploded. I could have done a whole list on nickels as well, but alas, that wasn't going to happen. We can only fit about 5 or 6 in there, but that's okay. That's some of the best featured in here. So how's the market doing these days? Well, it's still rather robust. There's no cracks in the armor from what I could see so far. How long is this sustainable is anybody's guess. The coin market, I would say, was probably never undervalued, or it might have been, maybe just a little bit, for the activity to be so just incredible. As investors and collectors pick up some pretty notable pieces. So what's really driving the market these days? Is it low supply of quality coins? It could be. Is it just demand is 10x what it was, say, 12 months ago? That might be the case. All of a sudden, we've seen high-end coins and currency becoming a notable type of investment. People are buying these to pump and put money into and hold on to them, with the hopes that someday that a lot of these coins will appreciate 50 or 100%. We've seen quite a few of that already. If you would have gotten in on the coin market back in March of last year, I'm happy to say that you've probably made some money since then. It's just been that good. All right, so we don't have any other notable auctions to speak of. Nothing from Heritage or Legend or Stax Bowers. Everything's Great Collections, and nothing particularly notable on eBay. Maybe next week. We'll see. But as of this video, we are at actually March 1st. So let's go ahead and jump into the first listing from Great Collections. We have one of the most notable varieties in proof coins, specifically some of the more modern proof Lincoln cents. Now, this is the 1990 Lincoln Memorial. It is what they call the no S variant. There is supposed to be an S mint mark under the date, and as you can see, there is not a thing there. So it was either inadvertently left off of the working die or it was braided away, which I kind of find it hard to believe because this is really rather clean right here. Or it could be a grease-filled die type affair. So, it could be any one of those things. I'm more leaning toward to inadvertently leaving off the mint mark by mistake. But this is a beautiful coin. I love seeing these pop up. They come up maybe a few times a year. But what we have here is a PCGS Proof 69 red, deep cameo as you would expect for this particular date. And you guessed it, this can only be found in proof sets. This is not something that you could logically say you could find in circulation. The circulation struck 1990 no mint marks are actually Philadelphia coins, and they don't look like this. This example right here sold for $4,079.25. The market is as strong as ever for this type of variety, and I'm glad to see another one. Definitely one to cherry pick if you can. The next one that we have here, no doubt about it, is made and custom tailored for a registry set. If you're looking for a high-grade 1985 Lincoln, this might be the one. It's a PCGS Mint State 68 plus full red. I believe the top grade of this is 69. So, even if you did settle for something that's half a point grade lower, it would still make a huge difference for that registry set points wise. This one here in this grade sold for $1,546.88. All right, so this is the first 1955 that I've actually showcased on a Monday Market Report where it's not the doubled die obverse. Okay, this is just a regular, no variety 1955 Lincoln wheat cent. Again, another high-end registry set coin that you would aim for if you needed one for that. This one is a PCGS Mint State 67 Plus, full red. It's also even CAC certified as well. Pretty nice coin overall, rather clean, and this is generally what I would say a 67 Plus would look like for the date. If we're talking a much newer coin, it would look a lot more cleaner. But this coin right here sold for $2,531.25. Not a bad looking coin. And again, these pop up seldom on the marketplace. I probably see maybe 3 or 4 of them come up in auction in a year's time. All right, so that just gives you an idea of how tough a 55 could be. All right, so this is a 1938S. Okay, we got a San Francisco minted Lincoln wheat cent here. This one is a handsome looking example. Again, probably more of a registry set piece. Although we're getting old enough in age that this one could also possibly be an investment coin. So what do we got grade-wise here? It's a PCGS Mint State 67 Plus, full red, nice beautiful coin. It's a few ticks away from what I could see from being at 68. Just an overall pleasing example. It's also backed by CAC as well. You can see the green bean right there. This one sold for $1,012.50. That might seem a little low, and it is, only because this is not the top pop for this coin. In addition, the San Francisco minted late 30s Lincolns have always been well struck and well presented. All right, the quality is generally high. If you were looking for a nice high-end mid-state 66 type example, all right, that's like a $35, $40 coin right there. All right, so they are out there in sizable numbers, but I believe 68 is the high grade for this one. All right, not the final Lincoln cent, believe it or not, but we have a 1925D, and this looks every bit as different from the previous 4 coins. But check out the grade. PCGS Mint State 65 full red. It's also CAC certified. Now again, this is like the one per video type of disclaimer when it comes to 1920s Lincolns. These were produced during a time where the quality was not as thorough as it is today. All right, so you're going to see a lot of coins with a lot of weak strikes. You're going to see a lot of problems with these examples. Generally, the planchets aren't that fantastic. This particular example even exhibits a few carbon spots on the reverse and a few on the obverse. But overall, if you need an example that's full red, this is probably as good as it gets. There's so few examples that exist out there today that looks anything better than this. And again, that's all because of the period in which these were produced. The Great Depression age, a lot of these coins were also not held on to, when they were released into circulation. They just weren't. They were all being spent, and they were well loved and well circulated. By the time the mid-30s came around, a lot of the 1920s Lincolns looked pretty bad. All right, they're about as bad as what it would look like today. As a matter of fact, that's how much of a workhorse this particular decade of Lincoln's was in that moment in American history. This coin right here sold for $3,974.62. Quite a bit of value for a coin that a lot of other people, like purists, would say is just a marginal example of a full red Lincoln. And then finally, this is a coin that that a lot of people search for. And no, it's not a proof 1909. This is a regular 1909 Lincoln wheat cent. This one also has the VDB initials on the reverse down at the bottom, the 6 o'clock position. This is a popular type coin to own. All right, so it is a nice high grade. But where the rarity comes in is going to be the variety. Okay, so this is a Mid-State 67 full red. As you can see in the letters of that label, it is the doubled die obverse. I believe this is the 1102, where it's got the doubling in Liberty. That's quite strong. But this is a coin right here, ladies and gentlemen, that a lot of people want to cherry pick. This is kind of like a lottery coin to a lot of people. So when you're able to find one that is as high a grade as this particular example, in addition to being the 1102 doubled die obverse, then you have just a pairing that'll produce some great results. To give you an idea, this one sold on Great Collections for $11,031.75. I know of a few people that cherry pick the local shows. They cherry pick their coin shops for this particular variety because it's in all sense of the word, this is a variety that gets overlooked by a lot of dealers. All right, so and it's not even recognized in the Red Book as a variety. However, it is a cherry picker's guide variety, but you should not sleep or nap on this variety because it is worth so much amount of money. And even in lower grades, like let's say if you had a Mid-State 61 or 62, maybe not necessarily a full red. I mean, we're talking about a coin that's still worth about $1,000. You know, that's just how important, how rare of a coin it is. And in addition, it's also one of those fabled VDB coins that you hear about so much. All right, so let's go ahead and turn our attention to some premier-looking nickels. Now, this is actually the newest nickel in the lot. All right, so we got 1957 Philadelphia Jefferson nickel. This one is a PCGS Mid-State 66 Plus full stepper. It's a registry set coin. Aside from that, this is a relatively tough date to find well struck, and this one passed that test pretty okay, I would say. This one right here is sold for $1,406.25. Another tough grade right here, ladies and gentlemen, and there's probably a good reason why it was sent to NGC as opposed to PCGS, because NGC does grade strike designation for full steps either by 5 FS or 6 full steps, one or the other. Now, generally, the 5 full steps coins would be worth a lot less than 6 full steps. Just because of maybe a weakness in the steps, or there might be a nick that obscures the bottom step or something to that effect. But what we have here is, again, one of the tougher dates, a 51S. It's a Mid-State 67 5FS through NGC. More than likely, it's a registry coin, and this one sold for $2,143.12. Now, this is probably the most beautiful looking coin on the list. Actually, I take that back. There is one other one that we'll talk about later on in the show. But as far as nickels go, this one is phenomenal. It's a 1945S Jefferson nickel. The toning is really attractive on here. It looks like something that came out of an older album. But it is an NGC Mid-State 68 star. NGC awards the star designation based wholly on eye appeal, toning, that sort of thing. So this one certainly hits that out of the park. It's also QA certified. All right, so QA certifies modern coins. All right, and this is one of the series that they specialize in. Just a beautiful coin. It is also part of Sunset Collection. This week, it's part number 139 on the list. This one sold for $2,425. Just a stunning example, and it's great to see a non-full steps coin get its due. Some people think, well, you need full steps for it to be a valuable coin. Well, that's not particularly true. It could have eye appeal, i.e. toning, or it could just be like a really high-end blast white silver wartime issue. All right, that also makes a difference as well. Like if it was just a regular mid-state 68 45S without the toning, it would still be $1,000 coin plus. Still a very valuable piece. 44p, another 35% silver manganese issue. This one here is a PCGS Mid-State 67 Plus full stepper. This one has some of the, the blues and kind of like the gold tones to it. Another very fine original example. Beautiful coin. This one sold for $3,763.12. The full steps is what really pushed this one to the next level of pricing. All right, so I love talking about these. I'll probably talk about these, once every 4 months, but we have a really nice high-grade 1939 Jefferson nickel. This one is the doubled Monticello, however you want to pronounce it. It's a PCGS Mid-State 67. All right, so obviously it doesn't have full steps. You can see a few nicks there at the bottom rows of steps, which kind of disqualify, but just take a look at the doubling. This is one of the premier varieties that everybody looks for, and it doesn't really matter what grade it is. A very fine 25 with this DDR on it is just as incredible as one that is a mid-state 67. But this is, again, a pinnacle piece for the variety type. And I'm happy to say that this one sold for $2,531.25. As kind of a comparison, if this one did have full steps, this would be an $8,000 to $10,000 coin. That's just a huge, monumental price swing from one that, if this was a little bit more clean right here, wow, that's a $6,000 price difference in itself. But again, it just goes to show you how little nuances like strike and just cleanliness of a coin really plays a huge factor in the valuation of these pieces. All right, so we have a few Buffalo nickels, rather. The first one here is a 35S. Now, don't let the San Francisco mint mark fool you. This is actually a very, very available coin to find in mid-state conditions raw. I've purchased a few 35Ss in my time for around $100 to $150. Okay, so you can buy them and cherry pick them with relative ease. If you know that they're going to grade high and it's a really clean example, then you might have something like this. It's a PCGS Mid-State 67 example. This coin is a stunner, and you could literally turn that $100 to $150 investment into the price of this coin that sold for $6,143.62. Again, any branch mint 1930s Buffalo nickel is a great coin to cherry pick if you're looking to kind of 10x your investment or higher. People just really don't think about buying raw, 35s, 36s in both Denver's and San Francisco's and opting for a mid-state 67 and higher. There's actually a lot of high-grade specimens not encapsulated out in the wilderness today. Okay, so we have a couple lonely dimes. Now, this is one right here for a lot of us. It looks like a run-of-the-mill, pulled right out of circulation piece. 1982 Roosevelt dime. As you guys know, in 1982, for a Philadelphia struck coin, there was supposed to be a P mint mark. All right, and they're all supposed to have that. That's the common design placement of a mint mark on the 1982. But this one is missing. All right, so much like the 1990 Lincoln that we saw earlier in the show, this particular coin right here is definitely missing the mint mark. All right, and it's one that I encourage a lot of folks to look for because these are found in circulation, and a lot of dimes come up in mid-state condition, even coins going all the way back to the 60s, because of circulation. These weren't circulated as frequently as some of the other denominations like quarters and nickels and that sort of thing. All right, so this one right here, as you can see, it says weak. All right, so there's a strong and there's a weak version of the no mint mark type. And what that really revolves around is the strike. You can see that part of the 2 is a little bit missing here. So this is the weak struck coin. You can even see it in the motto and a little bit in Liberty. The strong variant is worth more money of this type. This one right here, as a mint state 67, sold for $1,306.12. This would be a really nice cherry pick, even if it was mildly circulated. It's still a coin that's worth about $100 to $150, even if you did not grade it. That's how valuable this coin is, as the quote unquote missing mint mark variety type. And by the way, it's the only one that you can find in circulation that is supposed to have a P mint mark, but is missing. All right, so this is the just the huge bomb of the week. It's a 1917D. All right, if you guys have seen my Mercury dime full bands video from eons ago, I mean, that video is like 6-7 years old by now. This is one of the marquee dates to look for. And if you're able to find one in exactly this manner, it maybe doesn't have to be as toned as this one. This one was preserved in something for a long time. But check out the grade, guys. Mid-state 67, full bands. The full bands is the key words of this coin and date. And generally, anything that is a Denver or San Francisco minted coin from about 1928 and all the way down to the first year, those are going to be some of your hottest coins to locate. All right, so not going to say that you'll be able to find any mid-state raw examples of any of these coins with relative ease, because it's going to take a lot of searching. These coins were hidden in collections for a long time, and all it did was take, a collector or a dealer, to go through an album of coins with a lot of high-end Mercuries, and then they see this one, and then the rest is ancient history. This coin, guys, sold for $81,562.50. Huge chunks of change. And I'm telling you, these are true home runs. If you're able to find them, great. You'll make a boatload of money. And they don't have to be toned. Of course, they get special kind of like brownie points with the toning for sure. But they can be blast white as well. And then the final coin is going to be this ridiculous beast here. Check it out, though. It's not a Denver or a San Francisco, which, normally any one of those two mint marks would automatically thrust the 1932 Washington quarter into legend status, because those are the two key dates. But what about a Philadelphia one? Well, this one, I'm happy to say, is worth more than a lot of those Denver and San Francisco minted 1932s. Primarily because of the grade on this one. It's a PCGS Mint State 67. It's just an overall peach, nice original toning, as you can see from both the obverse and the reverse of the coin, with the gold and yellow swatches on there. But make no mistake about it, this one is either going to be a high-end investment piece, which it can be. All right, this one has low pops. Or it could slot really well into a high-end registry set of Washingtons. And, with all the hard work that this one went through to get graded and, handled well, it brought home $8,218.12. Just a really chunky kind of a coin that not a lot of people would think would be worth that kind of money. A BU mid-state 65 level of Washington can be had for under $50. All right, but what if that 65 that you bought was extremely clean and it looked like this and all original? Then, you would turn a $50 investment into a lot more life-changing money. $8,000 is a lot of money for a coin like this, but it's well-deserved given its overall preservation level is just unmatched. All right, so that's going to go ahead and do it. First video out of the way for the month of March. Way to kind of, break the old ice. It was a lot of fun. I want to thank you guys for joining in on this video. we're going to be back at it again. March, we have full 31 days of opportunities to go out there and find some coins to search through. And hopefully this video is a little bit of inspiration for you to do that. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video if you enjoyed today's content. That would mean the world to me. And don't forget, Coinolics, we are discovering together every single day. So I would love to hear about your guys' finds. Best of luck to you guys. Don't work so hard. And happy March. We're almost there to spring and then summer, baby. Let's do it. Have a good one.